Big drive! Come on!
What is up, guys? Coach Matt here today, and today we're talking all about this delightful piece of equipment, the log. And more specifically, we're talking about how I added 25 pounds to my log clean and press over the weekend. No clickbait there. One day, 25-pound PR. So first thing first, I just want to thank all of you new subscribers to the channel. I know Alan Thrall shouted out my previous video on weight loss. Couldn't be more appreciative to him for shouting me out, and I couldn't be more appreciative to you guys for giving some random guy on the internet a chance here. So thank you so much, guys. So a really cool thing today is all of the tips I learned for the log press were taught to me by Neversate's Olu. I'm sure if any of you guys have watched Brian Alstru's videos, you have seen Olu and you have seen how much he is capable of lifting. He's an absolute beast, makes log look like it's a regular barbell. And all of the tips I'm going to give you today are things I learned from him at Neversate's seminar, which is held here at the Den. And I'm hoping to really be able to transfer over what I learned from Olu to you guys about the log clean and press, because like I said, it was a drastic change. A 25-pound PR for press is not something that happens every day. So really wanted to share this information with you guys, and I hope you guys enjoy. All the tips I'm going to talk about today are based around the clean portion of the clean and press. And I know that sounds weird since the objective is to lock the log out overhead. But the way Olu explained it was basically the more efficient your clean is, the less energy you're wasting getting the log into the rack position, more energy you have for the press. And that's exactly what I experienced over the weekend. In the past, I really didn't pay attention to the clean part. I just kind of focused in on ripping it up as fast as I possibly could. Basically left me halfway to the shadow realm by the time I was rack position. I'd freak out, rush the press, wouldn't get any air for the press, and I'd end up missing sub-maximal weights. So fixing up and getting my clean way more efficient definitely gave me way more energy to hit these presses.
Go! Set. Go! Come on, push, big push! To the shot!
So the first tip Olu shared with me was getting the log higher up on my chest when you're in that spider position, as Neversate lovingly calls it. And this is the tip that definitely helped me out the most. I know for a fact that I was not doing this in the past because I'd always kind of speed bump past my belt every single time I cleaned the log. With this new position, I'd be on top of my belt or above my belt every single time I cleaned. And this just made it way more efficient, had less distance to travel, and I overall used less energy to get the log up into the rack position. Side note, for those of you that have had the pleasure of feeling the wonderful sensation of having your skin trapped between a hard lever belt and a metal log, this does cut down on that sensation quite a bit, so that is also a nice little factor to this. So that's tip one. When you're in that spider position, maybe drop down a little bit lower than you're used to. Situate that log as high up on your chest as possible. Obviously, it's not going to stay there when you go for the clean, but it's going to be in a higher position than you're used to. You're going to have to travel less distance with the clean, and you're going to use less energy overall. Tip number two here, guys, is going to be individual dependent, but I think a lot of you guys will kind of sympathize with this. Olu was talking about something that he does that maybe someone my size or smaller, might not want to do, which is sitting in spider position for too long. He explained the fact that since he is such a big guy, he is able to afford to sit in that situation for longer periods of time and really situate himself without the log really breaking him down. But when you get down to being a smaller guy, the log is going to break you down the more time you sit with it. And that kind of goes for both the spider position and when you have it in the rack position. Obviously, smaller is relative. You have to understand Olu is a big, big dude. But to give you some relativity here, I am only 190 pounds, which in strongman is lightweight. So sitting with heavy objects for long periods of time is not going to be in my best interest. I'm going to prefer to use speed to get myself out of situations as opposed to just raw strength. I just don't have the mass to support heavy objects for long situations like Olu might. If you get good enough with it, you can actually catch a slight rebound like you would catch out of the bottom of a squat. But this does require a little bit of timing, so just go for getting a bit quicker and quicker out of that spider position, and eventually you'll kind of catch that timing to catch a rebound out of that position and help you with your clean. Admittedly, this is something I definitely need more work on. Coming from an endurance sports background, I'm really good at getting a lot of volume in, but those kind of explosive, speedy movements, that's where I kind of slip on. Tip number 3 here, guys, is kind of a continuation of tip number 2, or more so the tip number 2 is going to help you with tip number 3. Tip number 3 would be explosiveness and speed as you're getting that log up into the rack position. Again, we're talking about being efficient here, talking about using the least amount of energy possible. So as you're coming out of that spider position, you're getting that log up as fast and as explosive as possible to waste the least amount of energy. So tip number 2, we kind of talked about rebounding out of the hole. That's already going to give you some explosive power and some speed coming out of that spider position, but we're also torquing. We're generating torque with our arms as the log comes up. So we're not curling this log up, turning our elbows up, and that's going to generate some extra torque with the clean from our legs. And that's all the changes we made. We didn't mess with my press at all. If you are interested in the kind of pressing technique I am using, it is a push jerk, which I have stolen from Joey. Joey's actually taken that one step further and does split jerks now on his log. Both Olympic lifting techniques, both something I'd recommend for logs, circus dumbbells, anything you have to get overhead. Really great techniques. I've got a video on my channel. Joey just taught Brian Alstru how to split jerk on Brian Alstru's channel, and Joey's got a ton of videos on split jerks and push jerks because of his Olympic weightlifting background. So go check those out if you're interested in the pressing technique. So big shout out to Olu for helping me out with my log clean and press. This isn't something I've practiced in a while, so I'm super excited to see if I kind of took a cycle to train this movement, what I'd be able to do with it now, because again, this is the first time my technique with that felt really solid and it felt like I was able to actually press what I should be able to press. Big shout out to Olu, big shout out to the Neversate crew for coming and visiting us and having that seminar over the weekend. It was an absolute blast, and I would 100% recommend you guys to get out and check one out if you ever get the chance. Thanks so much for watching the video, guys. Thanks so much for checking in, and I hope to see you all in the next video. I'll see you guys. Also, for all you new subscribers, let me know what you want to see. I talk about anything and everything related to strength, health and fitness. Anything you want to know about, I'll talk about it. I could talk about this stuff for hours. So just drop a comment below. Let me know what you guys are interested in, and I'll probably make a video on it. So I'll see you guys next time.